So yesterday, literally minutes after I posted my last video, there was a pretty sizable update to Monster Hunter Now. Yes, we're still in the soft launch, but it's like 8 days away for the real launch. So I figured I'd just do a really quick update video so that way you guys are fully informed with all the current information about Monster Hunter Now. Thank you to Glenn again for providing most of this information, and thank you to Nick the Destroyer for pushing me to make this video. Things are happening so fast, it's kind of hard to keep up with. So the first huge update to the game that I think is pretty relevant is that the AR function has been added. I just said in my video that it wasn't here yet, but it's here now. To initiate the AR function, what you do is you click on a monster as if you were going to battle it, but instead of hunting it, you click on the button on the top left corner that says AR. It'll load for a second while it accesses your camera, and then it's going to ask you to pan around your environment so that it can find like a flat spot to put the monster. Once it assesses the environment, then you can kind of like move it to where you like to, it looks like, and then you can tap to place it on the map, or like your real life area. And you can't tell me this doesn't look so sick, just like seeing an Anjanath kind of like biting and walking around the street. It's really giving me vibes of the first Digimon movie where Greymon and Parrotmon fought in the street at night. And it looks like you can walk up pretty close to the monsters and or make them pretty big. Like the Great Jirosh isn't supposed to be that big, but it is going to be pretty fun like taking pictures with monsters and taking super derpy pictures of monsters too. I can't wait to run up and punch a monster like Masaru from Digimon Savers for a video. Yeah, I like Digimon too, if it's not clear. There was a change to how you obtain your first aid meds every single day, but that's kind of irrelevant because we haven't experienced that yet if we aren't playing the soft launch, so kind of irrelevant. But when you get the game, click shop, click supply items, and you'll get your first aid kits. The next one scared me when I read it and when Glenn told me, and I had him verify it for me, but there was a change to how you do group hunts, specifically when you have a paintballed monster. When you've paintballed a monster, you have to now scan a QR code to group hunt with someone else with that monster that you paintballed. I don't know why, it's just the way it is. Glenn told me that he will be trying it out with his friend where they go very far away from each other, like miles and miles away, and see if they can still use that QR code to join a hunt really far away. But if you want to hunt with others, you can still just click hunt with others. It's just specifically to the ones that are paintballed that the change has been made. And then below that, it says the method for hunting monsters using paintballs has changed, but I don't have access to the frequently asked questions, so I don't really know exactly what the change is. I think the group hunt is what's more important. The two next ones are very positive. The first one being that you can now register loadouts for equipment. Thank you. This is gonna make the launch so much more fun. Basically now you can register each piece of equipment to a loadout. That way you can have all your elements aligned. So you have your resistances and the damage you put out to be good against a specific monster. And you can just put that loadout on really quick. And then I assume your Palico Squire puts it on you really quick because putting on all that armor is gonna be hard to do by yourself. And the loadout is as easy as just swiping. That's so sick. But that way you can quickly switch through your equipment and always be equipped the best you can for each fight. This was a major thing I was concerned about because even in normal Monster Hunter games, like changing loadouts is important because switching each piece of equipment every time you want to fight a monster is a lot, and we're going to be doing a lot more battling a lot more frequently in this game than even in the normal Monster Hunter games. So great change. Thank you Niantic, thank you Capcom. And the final big update is that it says to optimize your hunting experience, public areas such as large parks are more likely to have large monsters compared to other areas. So this is a good thing because if you want to go hunt with friends, then you can go to like a mall or a city center or a park, which I love going to parks and you'll see a lot in my footage. I'm going to be going to a bunch of different like national parks or parks in my area because it's just beautiful and wonderful and I can be in nature and still play this game, and that's like the best for me. Like gaming and nature, heck yeah. But on that note, does that mean that it's taking away from the rural players just like they did in Pokemon Go? I really hope not. I'm gonna be testing it though, probably like day 1 or day 2. I promise I'm gonna go out to the boonies. I live out in North Carolina and I'm gonna go find some rural areas to test. I definitely don't think that that means that there's anything like a nest like in Pokemon Go, but as the roster grows, I think we might see something like that. Another thing that I just said was not in the game in my previous video is now in the game. Hunting medals. It's still not in the format of a guild card, and I personally take issue with that, but we now have achievements in the form of medals that you can work towards. There's a main story medal, a group hunt medal, there's medals specific to how many monsters you've hunted of a certain type, there's medals for the mastery of the weapons you use, so if you use one weapon more than the other, then that'll be reflected in your medal, so maybe it'll incentivize you to branch out and use all the weapons in the future, like years down when you're bored. There's a medal specifically for just hunting large monsters in general. I assume that these medals will also affect gameplay in the future, like in Pokemon Go, where where if you have a certain like caliber of medal, then you get a bonus for specific attributes, hopefully. There's the Explorer medal, which is basically the same thing as the POKKE medal. There's the Trekker medal. I'm glad that there's at least something in the game like this, because I was getting worried that there wouldn't be like any kind of like tracker of like how far you've walked or anything like that, because I really like that in Pokemon Go to like see how far I've actually walked recently and over the lifetime of the game. And a time score medal for all you speedrunners out there. And I've personally seen this before. Maybe it was a rolling update or something, or maybe Glenn just wanted to show me it, but I'm gonna mention it since he showed me it. You can lock on to specific monster parts. I'm pretty sure, like I said, this has been out for weeks, but just in case, you can lock on to specific parts of the monster. So if you want to like specifically hunt tails, you can do that, and other parts like heads and feet and everything else. But yeah, you can lock on. But I'm gonna edit this really quick and get it out to you right after I go pick up my son, because he just woke up from his nap. Until next time, I'll see you later, hunters. Mysterious as the dark side of the moon.